Philosophical approaches to smart education and smart cities. In the Phaedrus dialogue, Plato records Socrates' discussion of the Egyptian myth of the Theus about the creation of writing. Theus was who invented numbers, arithmetic, geometry, astronomy, droughts and dice, and most important of all, letters. What he was most proud of was the invention of writing. However, when he came to present his find to King Tamus, he surprised him with an unexpected response. Most ingenious Theus, one man has the ability to beget arts, but the ability to judge of their usefulness or harmfulness to the users belongs to another. You offer your pupils the appearance of wisdom, not true wisdom. They are not wise, but only appear wise. In some way, contemporary education is in the same situation as Thales, Socrates, and the Greeks, in the same way that for them the possibility of putting science and history in writing was a revolutionary milestone in the development of human consciousness and evolution. The present age hopes that technology will make possible an unprecedented advance from the point of view of knowledge and education. Is this true? With the story of Theos in mind, in this communication, we are going to try to shed light on the future of education through a retrospective look at the history of Trivium. The questions are: will technology alone improve education? What should education be like in the era of digital transformation? Our response is yes. The classic project of the Trivium is revealed a fruitful perspective to affront the immediate future of education as smart education. This philosophical approach, then, is made from both points of view, from the philosophical reflections that emerge from historical revision, as well as from the content of the disciplines that compose it, that is, grammar, rhetoric, and logic. We have three key concepts. First, Trivium. Second, smart education. And third, smart city. Education should also provide a deep cultural qualification that enhances not only skills, but also attitudes and preferences of smart citizens, with a view to the responsible development of their digital citizenship, their quality of life, and, in short, their smart happiness. Similarly, the classical paideia was conceived in the times of Plato as education for life in the polis, and therefore, naturally, as education for life in freedom. That is precisely why the liberal arts received such a name, because it was the education proper to free men in the polis. These were the origins of the philosophy that inspired the Trivium. Education is no longer about teaching students something alone. It's more important to be teaching them to develop a reliable compass and the navigation tools to find their own way in a world that is increasingly complex, volatile, and uncertain. The question is how to harness the knowledge and skills we possess to face the challenges emerging from the digital transformation. We are going to answer to that question in two steps. First, with a set of philosophical approaches to key epistemological, mythological, pedagogical, and of course philosophical issues of 21st century education. And second, with a proposal to the new needs of educational content inspired by the Trivium disciplines. Here are shown a variety of philosophical questions that emerge from the above consideration on smart education and smart city, in relation to which a retrospective look at the history and the content of the Trivium can help us to shed light. Taking into account all of this, we can say educational context needed to face 21st century challenges. As Segredo et al. Emphasize in their work towards the education of the future, nowadays it is essential to train the students to be active citizens and creators, and citizens of the future must have full confidence in the tools and technologies involved in a smart environment. For this, in relation to the educational content, there are two main sets of skills, the so-called 21st skills and the digital skills. Below are shown three classifications of the so-called 21st century competencies, indicating whether their content is included I in the Trivium disciplines or is related R to them. First, the North Central Regional Educational Laboratory classification of basic literacies and main academic achievements. Second, the model based on four main components proposed for the Partnership for 21st Century Learning. Third, the five skills necessary to be successful following the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine. Next are shown similar tables for digital literacy, focusing on the skills involved first in digital competence, according to the European Framework of Digital Competence, and then in the three core digital skills: computational thinking, algorithmic thinking, and programming. First, digital competence. Second, computational thinking. Third, algorithmic thinking. And finally, programming language. In sum, the Trivium disciplines comprise practically all the so-called 21st century competencies and possess an irreplaceable propedeutic value for the acquisition of digital competence. Given that the study of grammar has been preserved in current educational systems, our proposal for revitalizing education based on the Trivium program implies the recovery of the remaining two, that is, rhetoric and logic. And that because no one academic discipline is specifically adept at cultivating these skills. In relation to logic, which has obvious value for digital literacy, our proposal takes place in two steps. First, in the form of the natural language of Aristotelian term logic, and second, in the form of the algebraic version of Fred Sommer's Aristotelian logic. Why Aristotelian logic? Because use natural language and facilitates learning and reduce the cognitive load. Because through its basic operations, open access to the computational thinking, and because allows an elementary and simple transition to the languages of mathematics, electronic, and design programming, which fosters interdisciplinarity, adaptability, and flexibility. Why term functor logic? Because its visible syntactic naturalness and simplicity of reasoning rules. Because its direct usefulness from the point of view of logical programming language, as shows term functor logic program language developed by Castro Manzano et al. In their work in programming with term logic 2018. And Finally, because its usefulness where language interaction with human is ubiquitous and areas that aim to simulate human reasoning. Conclusion. The historical outline and project of the Trivium provides a valuable basis for upfront challenges raised by the technological revolution in the field of education. Because rhetoric and logic provide the skills required to face the challenges of 21st century, and because Aristotelian logic and Sommer's term functor logic are appropriated to introduce and reinforce principles and procedures of core digital skills. Thanks.